Hi eBayers, it's Suzanne A. Wells, and you have landed on another eBay SuperSize sales of $100 or more. Now, before we get started, I wanted to clarify some things about my BOLO books. You might have heard that the 2022 edition is scheduled for release in early summer. Some of you are wondering if you should get the 2021 edition or wait for the 2022 edition. First, I want to clarify my definition of a BOLO and how my books are designed. So let's talk about evergreen content. That means the content is always going to be true. I focus on what has been true for years or decades. And I explain this in the introduction to the book. It says, a general word about eBay BOLOs. Some items are short-term hype and fade away quickly. I don't focus on selling or teaching about items with a short lifespan. It does not make sense to learn about items that won't be a hot seller for very long. Another problem with short-lived BOLOs, such as new retail or wholesale items, is that too many sellers offer easily accessible items, driving the price down and creating a saturated marketplace where no one makes much profit. That game is not sustainable and not worth the time investment. And I have played that game on both eBay and Amazon, and it's exhausting, and you're always chasing the next thing. So, back to BOLOs. Some BOLOs are just a list of brands, which is not very helpful when sourcing items for resale. I prefer to use visual cues, meaning what something looks like, when treasure hunting because it is more time efficient. Memorizing brands is limiting and a pretty boring way to find inventory to sell. So the important point here is other BOLOs are evergreen and stand the test of time and will always be valuable. These BOLOs are where the money is and will always be. My BOLO books showcase items that sellers repeatedly and consistently find in the United States that hold their value over years or decades. Older and vintage items will only become more valuable over time because they are truly limited in number. The less there is of something, the more it is worth. And what I've noticed in the reselling community is that the word BOLO has become pretty watered down. I know there are Amazon groups that talk about BOLOs for retail arbitrage, and those items fade out pretty fast, like within weeks. So if that's the terminology you're familiar with, I'm different. I focus on evergreen items, tried and true items that have stood the test of time, like years or even decades, that people are actually finding. So let me just show you a few examples of that test of time concept. If we look at the Snoopy Fire King mug, which is on page 78 of the 2021 BOLO book, I talked about this on my blog in 2008. It was one of the first BOLOs I learned, and it's still a hot seller today because there's no more being made. So the value is only going to go up. On March 10th of 2014, I did a post on my blog, Top 10 Thrift Store BOLOs to Sell on eBay. One of them was the Remington Tight Curls Hot Rollers. Those were selling for around $100 at the time. And this item is on page 61 of the 2021 BOLO book, still selling for around $100. Another one of those top 10 items back in 2014 was the Busilla stocking kits, tree skirt kits, needlework kits, and those can sell for up to $300. I mentioned this on my blog post in 2014, and this is still true today. Another item from that top 10 post was the diabetic foot massager. It still sells for around $150, so that is an evergreen item. Another one, Moomin coffee mugs. These can sell for up to $400. Their value has increased since this blog post in 2015. Why? Because they're truly limited in number. So here we are many years later, this is still true. And then we've got the iconic IKEA Johnsburg vase. People find this every month and they post this in the Facebook group. This is definitely a BOLO that has stood the test of time. I actually have a YouTube video about it that I made in 2019, and here it is. The value is pretty much the same. And one more example, the Toy Story Mr. Mike microphone. This was on a YouTube video back in 2019, and he still sells for $200 or more. So I just wanted to show you that I do focus on evergreen content. The 2022 edition of the BOLO book, which is coming out in early summer, all of the items are evergreen. All of the items are different from the 2021 edition. There are no repeats. There will be a clothing section. Maybe 25% or fewer of the items will be those iconic, recognizable clothing items. Even if you're not a clothing seller, you might want to take a look at these because they're easy to see, and that's what I focus on, items that are easy to recognize quickly. So the value of this handbook is, in my almost 20 years of experience selling on eBay, the in-depth research I do to make sure that the items are still profitable, and of course packaging the information in a convenient way that is user-friendly and will help you make more money. So consider my BOLO book as a periodical, which means it's published at regular intervals and the information in each edition is different. I modeled this after a combination of the Covell's Guide, which is the standard by which antiques and collectibles are showcased and priced, and a farmer's almanac. So it's something that's going to come out every year with different information to keep you up to date and knowledgeable so that you can make more money. So you don't have to choose which book to get. Just get one every year. And remember that any educational materials you purchase to help you with your eBay business are an investment. It's education. So just look at it that way. So that's your quick and dirty lesson about evergreen content. If you hadn't heard that word before, now you know what that means. And this is what I focus on when I design my educational materials, because I don't like wasting my time learning things that aren't going to be true in a very short time. It just makes more sense to invest your time in learning material that will be true for a very long time or even forever. Okay, and now on to the $100 sales. Just a reminder that these come from my Facebook group. Every month we have a thread where you can post your SuperSize sales. So if you want to be considered for possible inclusion in these videos, make sure you post your sales there. Starting off with Valerie Ratliff, she paid $2 for this at Goodwill. listed for $129.99, sold on best offer of $100 plus shipping in about 2 months. This is a Doreen Ryan belt buckle with a tiger that has rhinestone eyes. $2, sold for $100. Next up is Eileen Cole. Paid $8 for this unique handmade music box at a thrift store. Listed for $115 as an experiment and didn't lower the price, but I did accept offers. Finally, after 18 months, I got my one and only offer of $100 and accepted it. So this is a handmade wood piano music box. $8, sold for $100. Gina George. This Le Creuset baking pan was free when we cleaned out an apartment for someone who had to move quickly and couldn't take much with them. It sold for best offer of $106 in 4 days. Le Creuset number 40 white enamel cast iron baking roasting casserole dish. Anne Rice, bought at Salvation Army for $32.46. Sent photos to the company to authenticate. Sold for best offer of $110 in 5 months. This is a Merino Orlandi brown Italian leather quilted handbag shoulder bag. $32, sold for $110. Tiffany Takao, bought at Goodwill Friday for $4, listed Friday night for $144, got a $100 offer yesterday, accepted, counter offer of $110, and it sold today. One of those split-second decisions to go into a store and just see what they have for a few minutes. This is THC Hawaiian Textiles Floral Fabric. $4, sold for $110. We've got Eileen Cole again. This craft tote was part of a lot I won from a local online auction. I have about $1.50 into this item. Sold in 2 weeks for $112.50. The item is Crop in Style Rolling Organizer. So it's like a little suitcase almost. And she sold this for $112.50. Vonnie Villa, paid $7.99 at Salvation Army, sold in about a month for $114, plus the buyer paid shipping. Not all are worth this much, but this one had macaws, which is a bird, which is a higher value than most Curoc of Monterey trays. So it's the large 18-inch tray with tropical birds. $8, sold for $114. Leslie Kidd. This was a fun thing to find in my local Salvation Army. I actually owed out loud and drew some attention to myself when I saw it. It was taped shut, so I had no idea how complete it was and if there were any figures. It was $50, but I wasn't going to pass it up. It was very incomplete, but there were a couple of figures in it that I will make a little bit on. Overall, a fun find and sale with around $70 in profit. So this is a vintage Ewok Village Star Wars 1983 playset. $115, but $70 profit. That's worth it. Dawn McMaster, paid $7, took best offer in 2 days for $115. This is a TimeWorks Panama Pacific steamship clock. It's an 8-day clock and it's brass. $7, sold for $115. Christy Coffer, paid $7 for these at Goodwill. Sold for $120 plus shipping on offer to buyer. When I got home, I found some much lower comps that I had initially seen in the store, so I was a little nervous that they were not so great. I decided to list them at the higher end of the comps anyway, and it paid off. Buyer left a really sweet note too. These are Coach Red Crab flip-flop sandals, size 8 with rhinestones. And those are very unique. I find that anything beach themed does well. Um, People seem more relaxed and whimsical, and they're going to wear stuff they wouldn't wear at home, and even home decor for a beach condo, a beach house, Airbnb, Verbo, all that stuff. And it doesn't even have to be brand name. So I'm always looking for unique beach themed items. So those were really cute. Okay, Robin Riedel. My first $100 sale. Yay! Congratulations, Robin. Found at my closest Goodwill that I have a love-hate relationship with due to them trying to match eBay prices. But Suzanne is so right, they can't catch everything. Yes, I will stand by that until the day I die. And that's what keeps me going is like, what did they miss? What do I know that they don't know? And it's just fun to stay ahead of the curve and be smarter than the people at Goodwill. The people working there pricing the items, I mean. Okay, so she paid about $5. Took about 2 weeks to list it while I figured out how to wash it and research it. I knew it was special because while I was in the store, a lady came up to me twice and asked me if I was going to get it, and I said, yep. Put it on 7-day auction for $74.95. Came up with a buy it now price that I would be happy with. It sold in 1 day. I probably could have gotten more, so if it comes back as a return, I'm looking forward to selling it again actually. This is a vintage women's bodysuit jumpsuit. And she's got Bionic Woman and Charlie's Angels. I mean, that's very 80s. Yeah, definitely with those rainbow stripes. So her final price was $124.95. Gina George. This vase was free when we cleaned out everything that was left after an estate sale auction, meaning cleaned it out for the estate sale company. It sold on best offer of $125 plus shipping in 2 days. It's on its way to Tokyo. This is a Royal Copenhagen, Denmark, Greth, Helland, Hansen, Frayance. Probably butchered all of that, sorry. Anyway, it's a vase. So it was free and it sold for $125. Eileen Cole again. Eileen had a good month. The same buyer bought these matching shams for $125. I paid $8.50 for them. Sold at the same time as the sheets, which I think are coming up later in the video. This is a pair of Yves Delorme Palais Royal 2 standard shams. So basically some pillow shams with a very fancy French name. So she paid $8.50. They sold for $125. Marla Williams. My husband purchased a bunch of comics at a flea market many, many years ago. He bought the box for about $25. I went through the box and sold most of the items on Facebook Marketplace as one big lot. However, I picked a few good ones for eBay. This one sold for $125 as I took a best offer. This is The Art of Reboot Mainframe Entertainment Comic History Photos and Art Book. Moving on to Ken McNamara with a very bright yellow pair of shoes. $21, sold for $129. Limited edition driving shoes found at thrift store, sold in 5 days. Found at thrift store notorious for marking up shoes. Luckily, they didn't do extensive research on this pair. So you can see they are Puma, Scuderia, Ferrari, Future Cat, big yellow driving shoes. $21, sold for $129. Christy Coffer. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that this one has been in my death pile for almost 2 years, waiting to be properly cleaned and listed. Purchased for about 60 cents at the bins, sold in less than 24 hours for full asking price. This is the year I conquer my death pile and never go back. Vintage 70s Candy Jones Prairie Maxi Dress. Sold for $130. She paid 60 cents. Sean Davis. Hello everyone, new guy here. Thought I'd share a few of my sales. Purchased these boots from my local Goodwill for $5.99. Took a best offer of $130 plus shipping. Took around 6 months for the sale. Vintage Sears mock toe work boots, brown leather. $6, sold for $130. Marla Williams. Totally cute little charm. Purse opens up and has a few diamonds set in 14 karat gold. I have one more that's a little different, and I'm not sure if I'm going to ask for a buy it now or do an auction again. This one sold for $131.19, and she didn't say how much she paid for it. So Marla, if you're listening, let us know. Dana Henson. Bought at Goodwill for $7.99. Sold after about 3 weeks. My biggest sale yet. Yay, congratulations! Nora Fleming vertical napkin holder stoneware pearl dot. Retired. Sold for $135. Linda Hedman James Peters. That sounds like a combo Facebook profile. Paid $1 at a local thrift store. Took a few months, but hey, this is a vintage Dan Fogelberg 1993 tour t-shirt. Sold for $135. Linda Arnold. Free to me, sold for $140 plus shipping. They were listed about 2 months. Still so thrilling anytime I can qualify or contribute to this thread. This is a lot of 20 Pioneer 6 CD sleeves. So it's just the outside cases. And that's something that you would think people don't really need anymore. CD cartridges. But these were free and she sold them for $140. Andrea Pence Nolt, $40 at Community Aid. I guess that's a giant yard sale or thrift store. Sold in 4 days for full asking price. Lot of 23 Alice in Bible Land books. Sold for $145. Laura Stewart. Leather men's vest with ostrich print from the 70s. Given to me by a friend who was moving when it didn't fit him anymore. Very cool vest. Well made, likely made in Mexico. Vintage men's size large leather vest, brown with ostrich pattern. Sold for $149.95. Jen Cangelosi, free from a family member cleaning out their attic. Took about 6 weeks to sell. These were not in pristine condition as stated in the listing. I had them listed for $149. The buyer used my 20% off coupon and paid $119 plus shipping and tax. I've been having really good luck with the coupon feature. So these were free and sold for $119. Anne Rice, vintage Christmas Express metal train car Caboose stocking holder. Bought 4 different train stocking holders at a garage sale. Decided to sell separately. So I had $1.25 in this one. Sold in 3 days for best offer of $150. Kim Smith. Paid $11 at Goodwill and listed close to 1 year. Buyer is very happy with the item and left positive feedback immediately. These are Ariat tall equestrian riding boots. $11 sold for $150. Tina Wozniak bought in June of 2021 at the Route 40 yard sale. Hubby paid under $1 a piece for 84 poly bags. One customer bought all of them for $2 each. So the $80 investment turned around into $168. These are Lego Elsa's Winter Throne poly bags. Wow, that's just like plastic. It's sold for $168. Patty Paul. This was a super quick flip, $10 at Savers, listed on Sunday and received full asking price on Tuesday. I priced it to sell since it had 2 good size gouges in the enamel. Vintage Le Creuset enamel on cast iron pasta stock pot with steamer. $10, sold for $170. Laura Coble. Paid $1, sold overnight, found at a charity donation center I volunteer at. I don't usually do hats because I don't love to ship them, but glad I grabbed this one. This brand seems to do well, but especially a lot of the black ones because they are beaver fur. I was not sure if mine was beaver fur, so I just marked it animal fur. This is a vintage Resistol stagecoach top cowboy hat. $175. She paid $1. Whitney Kruger. Paid $10 at a tag sale. Sold for $185 plus shipping and handling within 12 hours of listing. It was one of those rare tag sales where it's a lifetime of an elderly woman's treasures being cleared from a house. Grateful to attend that sale and for finding so many special pieces. I always give thanks and blessings to the owner for allowing me to receive their belongings, especially when it's an elderly person who has moved into a care facility or passed on. This is a vintage 23-inch Italian painted floral botanical metal tollware wall hanging decor. $10, sold for $185. And here's Eileen Cole with the rest of the sheets that she referred to earlier. Paid $17 for this set of twin sheets as part of an online auction bundle, listed for $195 and sold for $169 via offer to watchers. So I already tackled the title of this, but these are the sheets. So $17 turned into $169. And we've got Eileen Cole again. She had a great month. This book was $3 at my favorite charity used book sale. Comps ranged from $100 to $400, so I listed at $3.99 with best offer. Sold in 6 months via offer to watchers for $199. This is Moby Dick 1930 first edition book. $3, sold for $199. And then we have Linda Hedman James Peters again. Paid $4 at Goodwill. It was buried under VHS tapes on cart. Sold in 2 days. Logitech Harmony 650 remote control, factory sealed. Sold for $199.99. $4 investment, sold in 2 days. Emily Ng bought this for $10 at a thrift store and took 3.5 months to find the right buyer. Sold for full asking price. Vintage Miss Rancelio espresso maker. Sold for $199.99. Her cost was $10. Sue Ann Akers paid $30 at Goodwill, accepted best offer of $200 after 10 months. This is a vintage Harley-Davidson motorcycle suede leather bomber jacket. And now we have Kayla Malone, her biggest sale ever. Congratulations to you, Kayla. Found for $1 at a small charity shop out of town. Took a month and a half to sell. Had no idea it was rare until I went to list it. I had just picked it up because it looked like a special edition copy. And this is the lovely and wonderful Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe by Easton Press. I think everyone in the world has read this book, and the movie is just amazing. $1 sold for $200. Next up is Roberta Calhoun. She paid $16.97 total for this item. It sold for $202.50 plus shipping. She said these were just stunning in person and in such great condition for a paper item from 1936. The title is Vintage Salfield Peter Rabbit Die Cuts, complete set of 6 from the 1930s. Final price $202.50. Okay, Jody Clark paid $3.39 at Goodwill for this used Pioneer Woman Autumn Harvest rolling pin. Sold in 3 days on offer to watchers for $199.95. So you can see there, it is a rolling pin. $3.39 investment, sold for right at $200. Lynn Smith Connor, church fill-a-bag sale. It wouldn't fit in a bag, so hubby paid $3. It sat in the pile collecting dust for 9 months. He cleaned it up and listed it, and it sold in 3 days for $225 plus shipping. Here's another hat, Resistol black and gold beaver long oval western hat. $3, sold for $225. Whitney Kruger paid $45 at a consignment store. My sister found it. She knows that I love antique toys. It wasn't until I got the toy blocks home that I discovered the Abraham and Strauss Christmas board game stored inside. This sold for $225. And yes, this is a repeat. This was in the last video as well because she found 2 of them. Ginger Lampright. I bought 2 of these at a garage sale about 3 weeks ago for $7 or $3.50 each. Listed them for $250 each. I just sent an offer of $225 and 1 sold. This is Cybergun Desert Eagle pistol light gun for PlayStation. $3.50 turned into $225. Emily Ing has another item, Super Fast Flip. I bought this at the thrift store for $15 and sold it for full asking price overnight. This is a pink flamingo mailbox, and it sold for $249. Holly Feger, Ready Player One signed copy hardback book, bought at Goodwill for $1.49, sold in less than an hour for best offer of $250.50. This was a venture into new territory for me, higher dollar book. I am not familiar with the first print, first edition, all those details, so shout out to Eileen Cole, who I messaged with a few questions after hearing her on the podcast. Could not have done it without her. Now just hoping my buyer is pleased when they receive it. So this is a book. Her cost was $1.49, sold for $250.50. Samantha Drenyan Paid $18 at a local thrift store that is usually overpriced. Took a year and a half to sell, but was worth the wait. Ralph Lauren Black Label Dark Wash Denim Blazer Sport Coat. Sold for $278.80. Her investment was $18. Emily Ing has another one. I got this free from FreeCycle last fall. I knew this was a BOLO, but hadn't realized this was the large version until I went to pick it up. Took 5 months to find the right buyer, but it sold for full asking. Shipping this item was a bear. I bought a huge box just for it, and it weighed 55 pounds to send. Now I'm wondering if I should have split it into 2 boxes to send it. Anyway, keeping my fingers crossed that it arrives safely. This is a rare pink Disney Princess TV model DVD VHS player. So it's 2 pieces, the TV and then the DVD VHS player underneath. So that's what she meant about splitting it into 2 pieces. Bottom line, it was free and it sold for $289.99. Carol Hollis paid $21.50 because softbacks were 50 cents at this thrift location. Only had one other comp of a complete set, so I priced it the same. The Old Testament side is the rarest part. Many sell the New Testament parts alone for not as much. Took about 2 to 3 weeks to sell. This is a set of 43 books, Daily Study Bible, Old and New Testaments, and it sold for $300. Nick Ann, Paragon Teacup, paid $3 at estate sale. Sold to Canada for an offer of $310 plus shipping. Took about 4 months. I bought 8 teacups at the sale. 2 sold for about $500 each. One is listed at $950, and the rest are in the $30 to $50 range. I've learned a lot about teacups and definitely turn them over for maker when picking now. So you can see it is a vintage Paragon teacup. Cabbage, red rose, green, silver, double warrant, signed Johnson. $3 sold for $310. Rosanna Smoker. My husband and I were on an anniversary trip at St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Of course, I was perusing Facebook for a deal and came across these beautiful dinner plates, $5 each for 6 plates. They were new and had only been used for display. I listed them for $79.97 each. I waited 11 months. Buyer purchased 2 at full price, then made an offer on more. In total, she bought 5 plates for $319.91 plus shipping. I messaged her asking if she wanted the last one. She said she had enough for now. I'm very happy. So there you can see the Royal Doulton Studio Provence plates, and this was for 5, which totaled $319.91. Okay, Kimberly Furman paid $20 at a Walmart clearance sale back in 2004. This was supposed to be a gift for my son, but was put away and forgotten. We split the profit. This is a Lego item in a sealed box, sold for $325. Initial cost was $20. And the last item in this video is from Angela Copps. Went to an estate sale where items were way overpriced even on the last day. The house was filled with so many resellable items, so I made it a mission to beat them at their game. We purchased $600 worth of items, so we paid approximately $11 for this ornament and sold it in a few days. This is a Christopher Radko Brilliantines turquoise reflector ornament that sold for $325. Wow, that was a lot of sales. You guys are amazing. Congratulations to everybody, and keep posting on this thread because it's a great place for the entire eBay community to learn about what to sell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.